Eric Bischoff.
I thought we were going to go in depth on Andrew Crawford. I'm like, I don't even know the guy.
We don't know him all.
This is right up your alley. This should be your deal right now.
Should be.
Well, let's lay the foundation. Eric Bischoff was born on May 27, 1955 in Detroit, Michigan, back when Detroit was a city worth living in.
Detroit Rock City.
It's still a city worth living in. Come on.
As long as you live by
When's
either...
the last time you've been to Detroit?
It's been a while.
If you live by Hockeytown, USA.
Great place. Still one of my
America.
favorite
Oh,
bars.
you're going to get
Ford.
everyone all fired up, and they're going to start.
I am so sorry, but Detroit's
I
got some
apologize, but again...
They got a brand new MGM Grand Casino, though.
We were there, weren't we?
Downtown's great.
All right.
He was actually an amateur wrestler who first appeared on AWA television for Gagne's AWA in 1973 as an amateur wrestler, not wrestling, but just promoting a match coming up. Unfortunately, he would injure his knee and then have to retire from his amateur wrestling career. At that point, he did start learning Taekwondo. He is indeed a master black belt in Taekwondo. You've seen that a couple times in his time in the business. He has also done several things, worn several hats, including owning his very own landscape company. And also working as
he's laid brick.
working as a veterinary assistant and managing a butcher shop, and he delivered meat.
Whoa, wait. Vet assistant and manager of butcher shop? Wow.
Was it right next to the...
Chinese food store?
Oh, you guys are terrible tonight.
I didn't say it. I was
You're
going to say it was...
blacklisting people. He's Chinese shopping people.
I
That was
apologize
in reference to a Seinfeld episode, the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
The title.
All right.
Pay attention.
You know how I feel about it.
Hey, if you're hot, say you're hot.
Eric Bischoff, though, would get his start in the wrestling business working for the AWA in the late 1980s. And when Larry Nelson got a DUI, he was one of the broadcasters for AWA. Eric Bischoff, who was already in a suit and tie working for sales, had to do some interviews.
Vacuum cleaning sales. He sold vacuum cleaners.
And worked for AWA on the side,
Uh-huh.
or on the slide. People still say that, on the slide,
He sold Hoovers.
not Kirby's.
No, because Hoovers really suck.
They put him on air, and from that point,
Bum.
they put him on air, and from that point, Eric Bischoff became a pretty significant force in the wrestling business. He auditioned with WWE in 1990 after the AWA went out of business, and contrary to popular belief, at least according to Eric Bischoff's side of the story, he had nothing to do with the football-themed matches that were probably some of the worst wrestling
You're talking
you'll
about
ever
Battle
see.
Bowl. Battle Bowl.
Exactly. At the end of the AWA days. It's fun to watch. So is a train wreck at times. He started with WCW in 1991. Actually did not get the opportunity to work for WWE after auditioning in 1990. He became the WCW executive producer in 1993 after beating out two people who were in the running for that job as well. Jim Ross, good old JR, and Tony Schiavone. Now, here's what I did not know.
He did it, by the way.
Here's what I did not know. Jim Ross left WCW because Eric Bischoff got that job. Remember Jim Ross debuted in April of 1993 at WrestleMania 9 in a
In a
toga.
toga.
A toga.
And Eric Bischoff became the executive producer of WCW.
Do you know why Vinnie Mac didn't hire Bischoff? Because they already had Craig DeGeorge.
They looked the same.
Yeah.
Except
And
for
Craig DeGeorge was...
Eric
And
Bischoff.
Sean Mooney.
Except for Eric
Sean
Bischoff.
Mooney.
No, Eric Bischoff had gray
No,
hair in
Sean
the
Mooney.
AWA and then had dark hair in WCW.
Really?
Dude, in the AWA, watch ESPN Classics, he had a big white patch right
At
up
the
on
end,
top.
yeah.
In his perm.
He stayed with WCW aside from a couple times taking a little bit of time off until 2000 after the Bash at the Beach incident involving Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan.
And Hulk Hogan.
He did debut in WWE in July 2002, and what many say is probably one of the most shocking moments in professional wrestling, as he was announced as the general manager of Raw, and then left the company in 2007. And as of late, he's been running a production company with his dear pal, Jason Hervey. EB.
They did the deal on VH1. Was it Confessions of a Teen Idol, right?
That was
Yeah.
that show?
Yeah, that was the Bischoff.
No, that was
production.
a Bischoff
Celebrity
production
Championship
along with
Wrestling
Hervey.
as well?
Yeah.
Hervey was on camera, Bischoff was backstage.
Hulkamania tour coming to Australia. Eric Bischoff's a big part of that. You know what? Eric Bischoff with him.
His name is Eric Bischoff.
Right place at the right time.
More than
Several
once.
times.
Yeah,
You
more
know,
than
he
once.
was there when Billionaire Ted
Just started writing checks.
Had the purse strings
What do you
open.
want to buy? Hogan. What do you want to buy? Savage. What do you want to buy? Okerlund. What do you want to buy? Heenan.
Those are all my notes.
Show's almost over. As a matter of fact, we're 14 minutes into overtime.
Well, we could pay time and a half for that, right?
Well,
Ding ding, winner winner chicken dinner.
Cal over there is going to have some words with you after this.
Cal, get the checkbook out.
What do you want to do? Overtime. Eric Bischoff, again, as Dave said, right place, right time more than once. He was also, as many people would say, that the best wrestling characters are you taking your personality, turning it up.
So, the strip club incident in Atlanta, Georgia, was him turning up his personality?
Yes. Yeah. Because he was involved with a bunch of the boys, had, his wife along with a bunch of the girls, and...
Truly wrestling insiders, huh?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, his wife and the Gold Club in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I heard all about it.
Wrote a song about it.
Eric Bischoff had a great on-camera
Well,
personality.
there was a lot of stuff in the champagne room then.
There was sex in the champagne room, according aside from what Chris Rock has to say.
Yes.
Go.
Glass heels.
Glass heels?
Go.
Clear.
Overtime.
Clear.
Overtime.
Clear.
Overtime.
Eric Bischoff, again, you know what? I think he's finally getting his due. He was a substantial force in the wrestling business, and I would even go as far as to say this. He is the man who changed the wrestling business with his ability to have put WCW on the map as he did. Had he not done that, I can't tell you where the wrestling business would be today.
And as hard as it would be for Vince to admit it, Vince knows that Eric changed the way business
I
is.
think it was more Ted Turner. Bischoff had the ideas, but if
Yeah.
he doesn't have Ted Turner's
Gotta
money,
have the funding.
none of
Right.
that stuff happens.
But his creative changed the business.
He stole from the NWO from Japan.
We know that.
So he was not that creative.
But he
Look
made
at all
it
the
happen
talent
here.
that he held back. Benoit, Guerrero, Jericho, Mysterio,
Malenko.
all those guys that end in O's, you know?
Rey Mysterio's mask.
Yeah.
Juventude's man.
Well, by Eric Bischoff's own admission, he was too big for his own britches. And, he was just running the company like a cowboy. And now
Not like Cowboy Bill Watts.
Or Bob Orton. James Storm?
Eric Bischoff, thank you very much. Andrew